Next 2 hours that we'll be with you, myself for the first hour, Kim Murphy checking in for hour number 2 of the Wisconsin Live Desk. The beauty of this booth here at our Milwaukee studios is we can bring you anywhere as the news happens, and a couple different things that we're excited to look forward to over the next few hours here. First and foremost, we'll give you a look at what we're tracking. This is going to be fun. The NASA SpaceX Crew 11 has a news conference scheduled pretty soon before they blast off on one of those SpaceX rockets. We're going to get into some of that mission, the 11th operational NASA commercial crew program flight for SpaceX, the 19th crewed orbital flight of a Crew Dragon spacecraft from SpaceX. So while this is becoming a little bit more and more common, it is still pretty rare and pretty awesome to see. So we're going to hear from some of those astronauts ahead of their mission later on. A couple of the other things we're tracking for you here on this Thursday afternoon, a live look at American Family Field. The roof open. The Brewers are not there, though. They have an off day after a really impressive 3-game sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Washington Nationals come to town as the homestand continues tomorrow, but the Brewers get a day to rest up and get ready for the Nationals after that impressive sweep of the Dodgers, the best team in the NL West, though they're scuffling in the National League, although they're scuffling a little bit here at this point. Especially yesterday, the walk-off win, Jackson Churio, a walk-off win in the bottom of the 10th for the Crew. All kinds of good things happening for the Brewers, who are kind of rolling at this point of the season as we lead up to the All-Star break. And speaking of the All-Star break, let me pop up this camera for you from down there at Marine Credit Union. Now, this is our photojournalist. You'll notice this moving around a little bit, getting some different shots of the crowd gathering there. But once it begins, it's going to be a fun one. As I mentioned in All-Star, Freddie Peralta is the guest of honor down in Racine at Marine Credit Union. He just was announced in the All-Star game, although he won't actually pitch because of how the rotation lines up. His next start is coming just a few days before the All-Star game, so he won't actually pitch in the game. Trevor McGill gets the spot for the Brewers, but a two-time All-Star, Freddie Peralta, will be with Marine Credit Union, an exciting event that's happening this afternoon, showing the company's commitment to the local community. It'll feature a check presentation to Junior Achievement. That's an organization we certainly love here at Fox 6 and do a number of things with throughout the year, but this nonprofit organization that's dedicated to inspiring and preparing young kids for success by equipping them with life skills, and particularly when it comes to money management and economics. Let's listen in. Let's see if there's any. They're building up the excitement, hopefully for the man himself. Well, it was someone else walking out of those doors, but still, the excitement building for Freddie Peralta to arrive and speak with those young fans there. So it should be a fun event that we're monitoring for you right now down on Green Bay Road in Racine. There's going to be the check presentation happening any moment now, a brief welcome message, as well as some remarks from Freddie himself. Such a staple of the Milwaukee Brewers, and cool to see what he does in the community in addition to what he does on the mound. And then after this check presentation, there he is. There's the All-Star. All right, let's listen in live because it's nice to get a major leaguer here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Canothy, President and CEO at Marine Credit Union.
Hi, Tom!
Very excited to be here today in Racine, and got a couple of our good partners here to introduce here in a few minutes. First, I'd just like to say that Marine is really super excited to be here in this community. Marine has been serving Wisconsin communities since 1931. We have 14 different markets in Wisconsin. We've been providing financial services all along, but what we've really learned is how important and how committed we need to be to giving back, and our commitment to communities and financial education runs deep. And I would say, just like our partners, as we'll hear in a minute. But first of all, I'd just like to say we're joined by an all-star, right? National League all-star. Yeah! we're all super excited about how the Brewers are playing this year, and Freddie's selection to the All-Star game next Tuesday. But also, I think what we've learned as we've gotten to know each other and talked a little bit is his deep commitment to giving back to his friends, his family, the communities that he lives and works and serves. And we're just really proud. And I think that probably is the reason he was nominated for the 2024 Roberto Clemente Award last year for the Brewers. So give it up one more time. So we do have two partners with us today, and they're here because they care as deeply as we do about communities. So maybe a few words from Freddie.
Hello. I just very excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say that anytime that you need something, I'm here for you guys. Credit Union, thank you for having me. And it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you for all the support that you give me all the time and the support that you give to the team. And it's something great and something that we really appreciate. Thank you.
Freddie, thanks for all you do, and good luck next week and the rest of the season. You've got a lot of Brewer fans here, so please know that we're here to support you as you've supported our communities. So, Junior Achievement, maybe come on up. Thank you for all that you've done to help our young folks learn about finances and prudent financial decision making and those life skills that you've helped with. We have a gift for you today that Aaron is going to present. It's a gift to help you continue the incredible work that you do, and just thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marine Credit Union. The work that we do all across the state really starts with the wonderful partners we have, and Marine Credit Union is always there leading the pack. We're there for our help, and we help them, and we always thank them for their tremendous support. And thank you, everyone, for coming today. And let's give a little bit of love to Marine Credit Union.
I think lastly we'll just say please enjoy some food and the games. And Freddie will be signing autographs and taking photos, so I'm excited for you guys to meet him.
And apologies for some of the shaky camera there. Our photojournalist has to get some different shots as well as some of the different aspects of this appearance. This was closed to the public, by the way, so cool to bring this to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, an event for some of the kids out there, some of the members of Junior Achievement, and of course, as you heard, a lot of the Marine Credit Union folks as well. A special appearance from now two-time All-Star Freddie Peralta, fresh off that designation recently, able to hang out with the folks down there in Racine on Green Bay Road for that check presentation of $5,000 from Marine Credit Union going to Junior Achievement, the group that does so much, a nonprofit organization, does so much to teach money management, economics, financial literacy, and kind of inspire a young generation, set them up for success with some of the lessons as well as some of the skills they learn through that Junior Achievement program. So neat to see, and neat to see Freddie there in the flesh. Had a nice start against the Dodgers on Monday, has one more start before the All-Star game in Atlanta next week. As a result of that, again, as I mentioned, he will not be actually pitching in the All-Star game, but that kind of works out for the Brewers too, because it means that another of their top relievers. Trevor McGill, excuse me. Freddie, of course, the starter. Trevor McGill, the closer, gets the nod as his replacement, who will actually be able to join him in Atlanta and pitch in that game next week, which, by the way, you can watch here on Fox 6 if you're curious. Fox has the All-Star game this year from Atlanta. Again, that camera's kind of moving around a little bit. I'm hoping that means we might be able to catch an interview for you with Freddie Peralta. It looked like he was maybe walking over
Marine Credit Union. It's great to teach these kids about
to the camera, so I want to kind of listen in and see if we can catch some of that. Yeah, it looks like he's about to step to the podium. Let's listen in.
Freddie, it's an off day for you, so this really means something in your heart. How did the connection come with Marine Credit Union to where you guys are today?
For me, it's an honor to be here. Feel great about it, and for me, it's a pleasure to give some advice and to teach this kid how to grow up in financial advice and all that.
How cool is this event? You got people here, you got autographs on an off day. How cool is it, and how much are you looking forward to meeting people, signing autographs, and being around everybody?
It's really cool, man. Normally it's what I like to do in the off day, just have fun, and this is what we're doing right here. Just trying to have fun, and it's great. It's a great feeling, great weather, and that's what we're about to do, to have fun.
But
Does the fan support that you feel when you're doing these events, does that make a difference to you guys on the field?
Yes, it makes a lot of difference. The support of the fans on the field is great. I cannot thank enough to the people that have been supporting my career and my teammates, and it's been great.
You guys are on a hell of a roll right now.
Yeah, we are. We're in a really good way. We have to keep it that way.
tell me about your commitment with Marine and how you guys share the same vision as you move forward.
You know, we're just trying our best. They're doing a really good job, and I feel it's an honor for me to be part of the partnership of the credit union, and I be here anytime for anybody, and it don't matter the day, I be here.
Where does the heart come from? I mean, you're just such a genuine guy. I've interviewed you multiple times in the clubhouse. Where's the heart to get that come from? I
think that I grew up like that. My parents did a great job with my education, and it's something that I really appreciate for them. They've always been there for me. It's something that I want to keep doing for the other people too.
How about the momentum of the Brewers right now? I mean, you just got done coming off a sweep over the Dodgers. You're 1.5 back. How well is this team playing right now?
We're playing really good, and we just have to keep it that way. We have to keep winning game and putting a lot of all the effort that we can to keep it that way for the rest of the season.
How do you explain the Brewers having perpetually every year one of the best pitching staffs in the entire major leagues?
I think that all coaches they do a really good job. They do a great job. They know what they're doing, and it's something that people around the league know that the Brewers do a really good job with the pitching staff, and you can see the results of those kids that have been coming super young and they've been having success in the league.
Last one for you. How about the Miz hype and how great he's playing? I mean, he's a young kid. I'm sure you're gonna take him on. How about the hype and how this kid?
He's great, man. I'm very excited for him, for his career, for what's coming for him. He's looking great. He looks very excited, and he's doing really good. And I can't wait to see how his future is gonna be.
Great. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Guys, we appreciate you being here. Good to see you, buddy.
Pretty cool. We get to hear from an all-star there live on the Wisconsin Live Desk. A lot of smiles around the Brewers recently as Freddie gets that microphone off and is on to the food, the games, the giveaways, the autograph signing, and photos with some of the kids, some of the people down there in Racine at Marine Credit Union, a partner of his, and they're a partner with Junior Achievement, which is nice to see as well. But yeah, all smiles, and you can imagine why. The Brewers are rolling, coming off that sweep of the Dodgers. They are just behind the Cubs in the standings right now and playing really good ball heading into the All-Star break. So a fun time to hear from their number one starter. Yeah, you heard all the excitement around Mizorowski and what that phenom could be, but Freddie Peralta, it's what he has been for the Brewers for so many years now, a consistent ace for the crew here in Milwaukee. The roof open at American Family Field. It is indeed an off day for the crew, a chance for Freddie and some of the others to get around the area and do some of their off-field duties and responsibilities. activities that clearly enjoys, getting to meet some of the fans in person down there in Racine. And then they'll be right back to it against the Washington Nationals tomorrow at American Family Field. All right, with that, we are going to take a short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Much more to come. I don't know if we'll have any more MLB All-Stars for you still on the show, but nice to catch Freddie there and kind of him to spend a little bit of time with our photographer and some of the reporters down there answering questions after that appearance at Marine Credit Union. It is the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm Carl Deffenbaugh. We'll keep it rolling right after this short break. Thanks for watching.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, good afternoon. Carl Deffenbaugh back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, giving you a live look here at downtown Milwaukee. The skyline looking good on this gorgeous Thursday afternoon, although you can see some of the clouds, and I'll pop up a quick graphic from our weather experts right now. 73 degrees and sunny is pretty much my ideal temperature. This is what's coming, though. There is rain on the way for the Thursday afternoon and evening, and by tonight there could potentially be some storms. So just be on the lookout for that. Friday and Saturday, some storms as well. So yes, it's in parts of Minnesota and Iowa right now, but on the way to Milwaukee as well. So enjoy this beautiful weather while you can. All right, we're going to get to another important story today for so many both students, parents, and the like around the state of Wisconsin. The UW system, such a rock for so many educations around the state. And well, for the parents out there especially, or students who pay for their own tuition bills, that cost is potentially going to go up in future years. As we bring in our Jason Calvi, who's covering this story for us on the campus of UW Milwaukee here in Milwaukee, but this is something that will affect folks in Madison, in Green Bay, in Eau Claire, all across the system, Jason. So take it away. What is the news that you're following for us today?
Hey, Carl. So tuition is going to be going up. It's going to be going up in just, a month and a half when the fall semester starts. Those tuition bills will be up about 5% across the state. So if you go to the University of Wisconsin here in Milwaukee, your tuition's going up about $432 for the whole year. I've got a graphic here that lays it all out for every single campus here. You can look at that graphic. It'll show you that the most expensive school in the state right now is University of Wisconsin-Madison, the flagship campus, and you can see tuition there going up as well, about 5%. It's about $500 there In Madison and every other campus is less than $500 going up for this upcoming school year. It starts in the fall, Carl.
Interesting, interesting. I'm sure for a lot of people there's a bit of a groan naturally. We know the cost of college has gone up dramatically over the years, over the decades, from what things used to be. What is the reasoning behind this? For the Board of Regents and the like that decided to vote for this, why are they saying this is necessary?
Yeah, the Board of Regents did vote. They approved it this morning. It was a unanimous vote approving the hike. Most of this money is going to go to salary increases. They say they're really not competitive with other systems as far as what they're offering in salary. You may remember that the state budget is also investing more money into the UW systems campuses across the state, $256 million more than what they've got. That's the largest increase in decades for the system from the state. Now remember, Republicans in their original proposal wanted to actually cut the money back from UW. UW System Board had asked for a major increase of something like $800 million increase for the system. They didn't get the 800, but they did get $256 million more in funding. And they say they really can't keep up. They're dealing with inflation. And then when they look at the numbers comparing what tuition is for the University of Wisconsin versus some of the other flagship universities, University of Minnesota, University of Michigan, there are several $1,000s more for those tuitions versus what you pay to go to UW-Madison. So they're saying this is not even getting that far. So really adding $500 to the bill for tuition at UW-Madison is not even getting anywhere near the thousands of dollars more that you'd pay at University of Michigan or University of Minnesota, for example. So that's one of the things they're bringing up. They're also bringing up the inflation. They also had don't forget, there was a tuition freeze for nearly a decade in Wisconsin, starting in 2014, going through 2023, where tuition was static. It didn't increase for that decade. And what's going on now is this will be the third tuition increase approved by the Board of Regents in 3 years here. Since 2023, 2024, and now we're 2025, you'll see those increases. So again, this fall, it's going to start as early as this fall with those increases of several $100s to your tuition bill, whether you're paying for your students or if you're paying yourself to go to college. You're going to pay a little bit more for the University of Wisconsin schools across the state.
That's interesting, almost playing catch up from what was that freeze for about a decade or so, and also interesting perspective too when it compares to some of the other top state university systems in this Midwest region, Jason. I probably had the same reaction that you've heard from a lot of people, which is, wait, we just covered this whole big budget and there's hundreds of millions of dollars going towards it. Is the word from the regents, though, and the board that yes, but we didn't get as much as we were hoping for that we wanted, so that is the reason for this tuition? Does it kind of go hand in hand like this, or was the tuition increase always going to be a factor no matter what they got in terms of the state budget?
No, it's part of really trying to balance the books here, and as they're getting that extra money from the state, they also have to put in their own share of the funding for the increase for salaries for teachers. So that is something that they needed to provide, and that's what they're doing with this approval that happened this morning with that Board of Regents meeting taking place this morning.
Let me ask you this. I see you're obviously on campus there, UW-Milwaukee, the big university here in our city. Have you started talking to students? I'm sure that's going to be part of your story later today, but have you started talking to people there on campus about the kind of on-the-ground reaction to this news and to that increase that's coming for them if they're still going to be enrolled in the fall?
Yeah, Carl, that's the next step. The meeting just wrapped up. We were covering the budget discussion and talking about whether or not to raise the tuition. And again, it was a unanimous voice vote today for the Board of Regents, so not much skepticism that this was needed, especially when you're comparing it to what other schools are paying. So the next part of the news gathering, Carl, is to talk to any students who might be on campus today, summer school, people that are finishing up research projects, et cetera, that are still on campus right now during this beautiful summer break that we've got going on right
That's
now.
the joy of the live desk, right? We get to catch you midway through your day when you're still putting the pieces together here, Jason. Let me pop that graphic up for our viewers once again with some of the different proposed, well, now enacted increases for tuition. We're kind of focused probably, as you would imagine, on UW-Milwaukee here in town and on UW-Madison, the flagship university, as you said. Did any of the others kind of catch your eye when it came to the percentage increases? Just off the top of my head, it looks like UW-Green Bay, it's actually a 4% increase, not a 5%, or any of the other differences there that kind of caught your eye when it comes to the other schools in the UW system?
Yeah, everybody was at 5% other than Green Bay. Green Bay was at 4%. What happened was the UW's, the Universities of Wisconsin president had proposed a 4% increase across the board for the UW system, but then each of the campuses could ask and get, and they did get approval if they wanted it today, an extra 1%. So that's why you see, if you go down that list there, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5% increase for all of these campuses other than Green Bay. Green Bay, as a special situation, didn't ask for the extra 1% that they could have asked for. And then one other point is the University of Wisconsin River Falls, which is going up 5.8%. Really, it's an additional tuition of $53 it's year 3 of a 4-year plan, so they've already been part of this plan to increase the tuition in River Falls. That's going to be continuing to go through. That's why that number is at 5.8%, the kind of outlier here for the increases.
Interesting. Yeah, just a couple things to point out there, but you always have the answers for us. All right, Jason, we'll let you get back to the work of the day, talking to some of the students. Any expectations for what you might hear from some of the students? I mean, I guess grand picture, it's still a very affordable education compared to some of the other big universities in the Midwest and certainly around the country.
Yeah, and I think, why don't I got the numbers here. If I can look at my phone really quick here, Carl. If you go to, well, I guess I don't have it right in front of me here, but I was, looking at the University of Minnesota and St. Paul, the University of Michigan, which again were several $1,000s more than what you'd pay to go to Madison. And UW-Madison is the most expensive state school in the state. And with these increases, it'll be up to $10,000, about $10,500. So they're adding that $500 on to the tuition at UW-Madison. But again, that's several $1,000s cheaper than what you'd be paying at some of these other state schools, the flagship universities in some of our neighboring states here in the Midwest.
So not that it helps the parents or the students working off those loans any easier with that, but as you hear from the regents, it's what they say is necessary to stay competitive in a very volatile college landscape. All right, Jason, we'll let you get back to it there. Thank you very much for joining us here on the live desk, and we'll be interested to hear from some of those students later on today. Appreciate your work on this.
Thanks, Carl.
All right, as Jason continues his work going back to school for us, so to speak, on the campus of UW Milwaukee today. You can read, by the way, if you want to see those numbers, just go to Fox Local. That's our app that you might be watching us on right now. If you're on the FOX6 News Milwaukee YouTube channel or another outlet, check out Fox Local or check out our website, fox6now.com, for that full graphic breakdown of what the tuition increases will be now after the Universities of Wisconsin Board of Regents approved that basically 5% tuition hike for most of the universities, with a couple of those outliers there being Green Bay and River Falls. As Jason continues his work, we continue ours here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. A short break, and then we'll see what we find for you on the other side. Thanks a lot for watching here on this Thursday afternoon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, welcome back. It's the Wisconsin Live Desk, 12:59 as we just approach the 1 o'clock hour here. I'll be with you for another 30 minutes or so, and then Kim Murphy takes over for the second hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk here each and every day, 12:30 to 2:30, Monday through Friday, I should say. Not on the weekends, at least not yet, but you never know. Coming at you with all of the news, whether it's the light stuff, Freddie Peralta, the All-Star for the Brewers making an appearance down in Racine, or some serious topics like the rise in tuition coming for all of the UW system schools that Jason Calvi just told us about. We're hopefully going to catch you up on some news from outer space, or soon to be outer space, as well as I'll pop this up for you. The live event starts soon. This is a feed from NASA, which is set to have a briefing with its SpaceX Crew 11 mission before they head out to the International Space Station. So excited to hear from some of the astronauts about the focus of this mission and what makes this one special, as the NASA briefing is expected at the Johnson Space Center momentarily. This slate just changed from a more general one to this now live event starts soon, so we'll try to bring you that once it happens here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And meanwhile, down in Racine, Freddie Peralta continues to sign some autographs, shake some hands, take some pictures, some fist bumps with fans down there, with Marine Credit Union hosting this event and also presenting a $5,000 check to Junior Achievement. Great partnership there. Really nice watch, too, on Freddie's wrist, but he certainly earned it with the way he's pitched for the Brewers over the years. So some autographs as well as some fun on an off day for the Milwaukee Brewers. We give you a live look at the City Center camera. This is the Milwaukee County, the City Hall building for the City of Milwaukee, of course, on the right there, as well as parts of downtown and Water Street running up and down through our city. Now, one thing we should mention, the flag on top of City Hall, you notice it's flying high today. It will be at half-staff tomorrow, as will all flags throughout the state on the order of Governor Tony Evers, and that will be for the day of the funeral for a Milwaukee police officer, Kendall Corder. I'll pop up the information for this. This will be the story of the day tomorrow here in Milwaukee. The public visitation and then the funeral and burial to follow for Officer Kendall Corder, who was shot and killed on a Thursday night responding to a shots fired call with his partner, Officer Christopher McCrae, who was also shot, though has been since released from the hospital with his injuries. Officer Kendall Corder, the first Milwaukee police officer to die in the line of duty in about 2 years since Officer Peter Jerving in 2023. So tomorrow, this is a bit of a change from some of what we've seen from other officer funerals. The public is welcome to all of this. The visitation will run from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at Elmbrook Church in Brookfield. The funeral will take place in that same church at 2:30, and the burial will be at Wisconsin Memorial Park following official police honors and a ceremonial procession after the funeral to his final resting place. This is something we will be covering for you throughout the day tomorrow here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and on Fox Local. In fact, we're going to have special coverage beginning. The Live Desk will begin as it normally does at 12:30 tomorrow, and we will be covering the lead up to this, including the visitation and getting you ready for the funeral at 2:30. But then special coverage from Fox 6 will begin around 1:30 for a full hour, leading you up to that public funeral for Officer Kendall Corder. That is coming tomorrow, while you will again notice flags flying at half-staff tomorrow per Governor Tony Evers' order on that. That release from the governor came out just a little bit ago, but was expected, as was the case after Officer Corder's death. The flags were flying at half-staff for a period of time. I just wanted to read you a quote from the governor with that press release that went out announcing the flags. It said, Officer Corder was responding to a shots fired call last week and ran toward danger when he was shot in the line of duty and ultimately passed away from his injuries. The governor's statement goes on to say, our hearts break for Officer Corder, his family, loved ones, colleagues at the Milwaukee Police Department, and the greater Milwaukee community. And we join Milwaukeeans and Wisconsinites in honoring the life of this dedicated public servant. The governor goes on to say he and his wife, Kathy, will continue to keep Corder's family and loved ones and all those who knew him in their thoughts and prayers as they mourn his loss and the merciless tragedy that was his death too soon. The sixth now line of duty death for the Milwaukee Police Department going back to 2018. It had been about 2 decades before that since the last line of duty death now, and unfortunately a number of them over the last few years going back to 2018 for the Milwaukee Police Department. All right, we are going to take another short break. I believe that NASA press conference is about to start, so we'll try to sneak in another quick commercial break for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then bring you all the news from the preparations for launch for the NASA SpaceX Crew 11 mission from the Kennedy Space Center. That's coming up soon.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. As mentioned, that press conference with the different astronauts about to go up to the International Space Station on the NASA SpaceX Crew 11 mission. The press conference has just gotten underway. Just a quick makeup for you. 2 different NASA astronauts we just heard from the mission commander. This is pilot Mike Finke, and there's also a member of the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency and a Russian cosmonaut as well. The 4 about to head to the International Space Station. They've been training for months, if not years, for this moment. Let's listen in live.
A really exceptional crew here, and I'm looking forward to riding on a dragon.
Okay. Oh, Dina-san and Mike-san already explained everything, so not much to add, actually. But I'm so grateful to be here, and we'll be able to fly with great crew members. I believe this is one of the best crew members. So we'll definitely enjoy our ride and also, long duration mission on ISS. And actually, yeah, it's very hard to believe, actually, Gina-san and Mike, Oleg-san is the first rookie. They're so capable. And Mike-san has a lot of good experience, various kind of experience. So last mission was 10 years ago, so I'm very looking forward to going back to my home. Yeah, ISS. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Oleg Platonov, and I will be a mission specialist for our Crew 11. First of all, I'd like to say this will be my first flight in the space, and I'm so glad to be here at NASA, and I'm really happy to be in our crew and I'm looking forward to have this flight because I've said this is my first flight, and I'm very excited with this flight. I necessary work on ISS and a lot of useful research. And also, I'd like to say thank you, my crewmates, for everything. You helped me every time. And also, I really appreciate my instructors in NASA, in Russia, my teachers who gave me knowledge, who gave me skills, and I'm very excited to see us in space as soon as possible and on time.
Ura.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for those opening remarks. We're going to go ahead and take some questions here in the room. When you ask your question, please state your name and media affiliation. Do we have questions here in the room?
Hi, Will Robinson Smith with Spaceflight Now. Good to see you all today. Maybe just going down the row, can you talk about some of the personal effects that you're going to be bringing with you on station and the reason that you've chosen them, given that you have a limited capability to bring personal effects? Thanks.
Yeah, for me, many of the things that I'm bringing are photographs, whether that's photos of people who are meaningful to me, family members and friends, or photographs that we're carrying for our team members. Just as Oleg said in his introduction, our training team and our instructors and the flight controllers who keep us safe while we fly are so important to this mission. I am also in the interesting position of having a lot of my stuff on ISS already from my previous training with Crew 9. My father passed away about a year ago, and I'm very much looking forward to reuniting with some cards that he sent.
As for me, I mentioned earlier that we're a whole bunch of milestones coming up. I've been married to my beautiful wife for 25.5 years, and what I'm bringing up is she is of Indian origin, and her part of India, from the state of Assam, we wear gamosas, which is like a silk scarf, and I brought one on my previous three missions, and so I'm going to bring another one. It's so knowing I'll carry the blessings of the Indian side of my family.
For me, just like Dina-san, I'm actually bringing a lot of pictures. Yeah, of course, my family members and also my friends and also my colleagues. And I'm really looking forward to take some pictures from space and give it back to the important people for me. Thank you.
I also took with me a few pictures, photos, and a couple toys for my children, and something special, and only things which will remind me about Earth, my family, and about my background.
I'm bringing pictures of Oleg.
Thank you, Michael.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Mark Karohus, Aviation Week in Space Technology. I believe this is for Mike. You've, among your crew, flown the most on the space station, and you'll be aboard when you reach the 25th anniversary of Constant Crew. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, when you started out, did you think that would happen, or you wanted it? I'm not sure what your perspective is, but what do you think that is in terms of an accomplishment and historical significance?
Thanks, Mark. I could probably go on for a half-hour special on this, but really, in short, I was in the astronaut class of 1996. Such famous luminaries as Peggy Whitson, who's currently in space, Don Pettit, who just came back. And during that time, we didn't have a space station yet. We were just building it. Part of my first job as an astronaut was to help with work with our newly newly partnered Russian folks. So I was in the FGB, functional cargo block, before it flew. Same thing with service module. And so I remember when space station was just pieces here on the ground. And I cannot say how amazed and proud of I am of human beings from all over this planet working together pretty darn well to build this International Space Station. 25 years of continuous human presence, even though we've had interesting small hiccups along the way, we've done really super well. We were worried about all these EVAs we were going to do to build it, and we did, and nobody got hurt. And we have a beautiful space station. I'm very proud of our space station. I know it's coming near its time, but this is something that I think that humans should just really remember of all the cool things we can do when we work together constructively. I can go on, but that's the short answer, sir.
We'll take our next question from right up here in the front.
Okay. Richard T. with the Post newspaper. This question is for Zena and Oleg. Being that this is your first flight, what's helped you the most prepare for this?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have incredible teams who train us for all of the technical side, but I have to say that getting to train with teammates like Kimia and Mike, who have this incredible experience, who have flown before, who have trained and flown on multiple different vehicles, having that different perspective, different approaches to spaceflight, how we solve these problems together, has been incredibly valuable. Their friendship and their mentorship have both made the difference for me.
I'm right back at you.
Ну, вряд ли вы меня поймете, но я хотел бы сказать несколько слов и на родном языке, раз уж речь зашла о подготовке.
Well, I hope that you will understand me. I'll speak Russian because I want to say a few words in my native language.
Yeah. Что мне помогло? Хоть это будет мой первый полет, но у меня было уже предыдущее назначение. Я был в экипаже «Союза» вместе с Алексеем.
It's fascinating to hear the perspective of those different amazing human beings about to go to the International Space Station. Kind of got alluded to there, but the two NASA astronauts in particular I've been reading a little bit about. First of all, NASA Commander Zena Cardman, ready to go on her first space flight. She was actually supposed to go on a previous mission as she had begun the Expedition 9, the SpaceX Crew 9 mission, was assigned to that as well, but instead gets to experience space for the very first time, as you can see, after lots and lots of training. I'm always fascinated by how brilliant these people are as well. So Zena Cardman, holds a master's in marine sciences from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She's a Virginia native. She'd begun pursuing a doctorate in geosciences and has studied stuff like subsurface environments, caves, deep sea sediments. So what does this have to do with space? Well, that's part of it, right? They're going to be on a long duration science expedition, both looking into some different experiments and missions that could potentially send humans back to the moon, as well as some projects that will be looking into research that can help things here on planet Earth as well. And then the pilot, who you kind of got alluded to there, but NASA astronaut Mike Finke has quite the long resume here. He was actually on the final flight of the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 2011. Amazing to think about that. And also involved in spacewalks back in 2004 and 2008. So he's logged 382 days already in space ahead of this now, let me do the quick math, fourth trip to space for him. He's also a United States Air Force test pilot back in the day, holds bachelor degrees from MIT in aeronautics and astronautics, and then also a master's degree from Stanford University. He's a retired U.S. Air Force colonel with more than 2,000 flight hours in more than 30 different aircraft. So yeah, that's the kind of guy you want flying your mission to the International Space Station. We're going to have some fun here back on planet Earth when we get back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Vehicles of a different kind that you'll hear roaring through the land here in Milwaukee. We go from a space shuttle like that, the SpaceX Crew 11 mission, to the Harleys that are the meat and bones of Milwaukee. They're back in town for Harley Homecoming, and we're going to get a live report on all the fun to come over the next few days here in Milwaukee when we rejoin you on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back. Carl Defenbaugh with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We go from NASA rockets, or SpaceX rockets, I should say, getting ready to blast off down in Florida with those astronauts preparing for a trip to the International Space Station, to a different kind of buzz in the air here in Milwaukee, and that's more like a roar, actually, as we bring in Ashley Sears, who's getting us ready for another weekend of the Harley Homecoming. Bit of a schedule change that they've done over the years, and it's kind of shifted from those every 5-year, every 10-year celebrations to what it is now with an every year party here in Milwaukee. Ashley, we already see the bikes behind you. I'm imagining you have the engine sounds just kind of running through your ears already. Tell us what it's like down there, down at the museum.
Yeah, Carl, today is the kickoff for the now annual Harley Homecoming, and tens of thousands of riders are going to be making their way into Milwaukee. We are outside of the Harley-Davidson Museum, where you could see this place is already starting to fill up with people. Now, this event spans across the area, and besides the museum, where there's food and music and, of course, bikes, there are also tours happening at the headquarters and events happening at area dealerships. Now, this is a time for Harley riders from across the country to come together. They show off their bikes and they just hang out. The main festival location will be happening at Veterans Park this weekend. Hank Williams Jr. will be headlining tomorrow. And on Saturday, Chris Stapleton will take the stage. And Sunday here at the museum, there'll be a brunch as people then roll out of town. So a lot going on this weekend with Harley-Davidson riders here in Milwaukee for the now annual homecoming event.
And of course, the dealerships around the area have their own festivities, events, and parties. And I love that right as your photojournalist panned over there, they put down the motorcycle parking only. Yeah, tough to get a spot if you're not on a bike down there at the Harley Museum this weekend. Tell us about the change to that annual event as well, and what you've heard from some of the people about the what used to be, you know, you plan every few years, everyone would make their way to Milwaukee from all around the world, quite literally, to now it being an every year thing, and what some of the expectations are for this year's event, given that we just had a big one year ago.
Yeah, so we spoke with the head of HR here at Harley-Davidson. This is now the third year that they're doing this annually. You said in the past we saw 5, 10-year events, but they said they really wanted to sort of make this kind of a mecca for Harley riders, for motorcycle riders. They said, you know, Sturgis has an annual event, another happens in Daytona, and they said we should do something like that here. This event, the annual ones, they said, really draws people from around the country because they'll stop here and then maybe head to Sturgis in the weeks that follow. Whereas opposed to the 10-year events, the 5-year events, those draw the more international crowd. We spoke to some people that were local. So far, we've talked to a lot of local people, and they say that's kind of the coolest parts, that they see people from all around the country. They make new friends here. It's just a cool thing to see.
I've certainly been amazed. I know you and I have covered this over the years a fair amount, right? It is such a marquee event here in Milwaukee when it happens. The amount of people that come internationally to here as well. Maybe you haven't met anyone quite this year, but do you remember from years past any of the countries or any of the stories that you've covered where people have ended up here on a Harley in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the home place of Harley, from, you know, Italy, Europe, all over the place, or Africa, Asia, and the rest?
Yeah, I remember a few years ago I spoke to some folks from Italy who were visiting. They were at a dealership up in Ozaukee County, and it was just so cool to chat with them. They say they don't miss a 10-year event. And then I also talked to a guy at one of the dealerships. It's very loud down here. He was actually buying a bike. He was buying a bike from a dealership, and he had come in from Japan, but his bike had messed up along the way, and he said, I'm going to buy a new one. So he stopped in a dealership and bought one on the spot. So that was super cool to see. But right now, most of the people I've spoken to are mostly local out here right now, but that doesn't mean there won't be people coming in from all over.
It looks like you got some friends behind you there. I thought they were walking right up to an interview for a moment, but looks like they're just hanging out.
Where are you guys from?
I'm from Arizona. Arizona, South Dakota.
Well, welcome to Milwaukee. What's the coolest thing you've seen so far? Here, I'm going to try and take this off.
Jason.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Harley Davidson.
Do you guys come every year, or is this first time? Awesome. What do you guys ride? Like, I know what.
Street glide.
Road glide.
Dyna switchback. Street glide.
And what are you looking forward to the most this weekend?
Probably just the whole weekend. We're just excited to be here. Yeah. Networking. You know, we're Medicine Wheel Ride, and we're here to raise awareness, and we're also fundraising. We're promoting our big ride coming up in Sturgis on August 3rd. So. Yeah, that is sponsored by Harley Davidson.
And what is Medicine Wheel Ride?
I'm going to hand that to
All right, well, go down here. All right.
Medicine Wheel Ride, we're an indigenous women's motorcycle group, and we do rides throughout the United States to raise awareness about missing and murdered indigenous people and to bring resources, you know, through our fundraising to help the families. And we are sponsored by Harley, which is great, and so I'm really thankful that they gave us this platform to do that.
That's important work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
All right, thank you.
Oh, very cool. Have fun, but not too much fun.
Just a little bit of fun, right? It
So
does
there you
sound, yeah, there you go. Actually, that's a perfect example right there. You get a number of people from all kinds of those western states coming here. It sounded like their first time as well.
Yeah, they said that's their first time here. So what a fun time.
There you
Hopefully
go.
the weather stays nice for everyone this week.
I know, that is kind of the question. It seems like a little bit of a dodgy weekend. Today's great, tomorrow maybe not, but then Saturday and Sunday a little bit better. Last question for you. I know you've got a lot to do here today, but we'll pop the graphic back up again. The two big headliners and the music side of this, because the city's going to be full of people on bikes this weekend, but even if you're not a big Harley fan, you can check out some amazing concerts here. Hank Williams Jr. Friday night, Chris Stapleton, I know a lot of people are excited for down along the lakefront Saturday. What have they done to kind of transform it into that music festival as well? I know they always had some big names for the 5 and 10 years, but have you heard anything about how important those concerts are to the success of the homecoming now annually?
Well, you know, everyone with Harley that we spoke with said that is really the main stage. That is where they want people to go. They want people to have fun at that festival, and they really transform Veterans Park for that, and people from all over. You don't have to be a Harley Davidson rider. You don't even have to be a part of this event here, but you could buy tickets if you like good music to head down there and just have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's well said. All right, Ashley Sears hanging out down at the museum. That is the start of the festivities today for Harley Homecoming. Then it kind of switches to Veterans Park, the dealers. You'll just see the bikes all over town. Good luck getting that engine rev out of your ear tonight after you're down there all day today for us. She's ready to rock, people. Let's go. All right, as Ashley continues her reporting, again, if you want to check out more from the fun with Harley throughout the weekend, we'll be here for you on Fox Local. Ashley's full reporting on our 4, 5, and 6 o'clock newscast tonight, which stream on Fox Local as well. And we'll take you back and forth. I'm having some fun with the different kinds of engines and noises revving for you. It's just about that time, 1:29, to switch gears. Kim Murphy will handle the second hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk. But while we still have it up, let me use this as the transition for us. The 4 different astronauts ready to go to the International Space Station. 2 NASA astronauts, this member of the Japanese Space Agency, and a Russian cosmonaut as well are answering questions right now before they blast off on the SpaceX Crew 11 mission from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Let's listen in live, and Kim Murphy will be with you after this on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you so much, Manuel Masanti, Exploración Espacial. Congrats on the upcoming mission. You know, during the previous call, we heard that NASA is working on extending the crew rotation missions from 6 to 8 months. I think I missed the why. Maybe you can clarify that to me. And a question for Zina and or Mike, what would you think are the pros and cons of being 2 more months in space? Thank you.
From my perspective, I can't wait to be in space, and 2 extra months would be a gift. Yes, we're baselined for 6 months right now with the ability to extend that pending further analysis of our Dragon spacecraft. For me, it would be an absolute privilege to stay for even longer.
Yes, I'm looking forward to spending 6 months with you all, along with Soyuz crews on both sides of our mission. It's going to be a great and successful, a lot of accomplishments. But to be honest, if it weren't for my wonderful family, whom I love very much, I'd probably stay up there longer than Don Pettit. In other words, I wouldn't want to have to come back, except that I really, really like my family a lot. So that's the only con, is that I'll miss my family, but the pro is that I have my family here also. And however long they have us there, we're going to do our very best and enjoy it. Every day would be a gift.
And we'll be following along. We'll take a question from David Curley with Full Throttle.
Thank you very much. Mike, a little more pointed question. You were really invested in the Starliner. The call comes. Do you want to move over to Crew 11 and the Dragon, excuse me. Did you have any conversations with yourself, and do you think you may still get a chance to fly Starliner?
Oh. Talk about pointed questions. So I think my good friend and Commander Zena-san said it best. We're here to help serve what our country needs, our individual countries. And if NASA needed me to fly Starliner, I tried to be the best Starliner person I could be. And they asked if I could support Zena and be her pilot for Dragon, and I said yes, because that's what we needed. And boy, that was the right answer. So yeah, will I ever get a chance to fly Starliner? I'm one of 3 certified, qualified pilots for Starliner. Butch and Sonny are the other 2. So if I were ever offered a chance and that's what the country needed, it'd be hard to say no. And go Starliner, right?
All right, I'm going to switch over to a social media question before moving back into the room here. I think this question is going to be for Mike and Kimia as seasoned flyers. B on X asks, what's one food item each crew member can't live without on station?
Oh, hey, since you did that, I'm going to answer that you like vegetables. No.
Sorry.
My favorite space food is tortillas. We brought them up as we learning to fly in space here from Texas, and the tortilla is a perfect plate, and you can put all your food on. So they're sending extra tortillas, and I'll share them with my friends.
Yeah, for me, any Japanese food, no, not vegetable. Yeah, any Japanese food is very important. Not for only my favorite, but everybody likes it. So whenever actually anybody help my job, I just try to provide my Japanese food as a gift. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's also very important. Once I give that to everybody, yeah, everybody happy to help me. So that's kind of very important. Japanese food.
Sounds like a plan. We'll take our question from right here in the room.
Yes, thanks for allowing a second question. Maybe first to Zena and Oleg, referring back to Robert Perlman's question about the future in space for the U.S. and Russia now that the ISS is coming to an end, but then to Mike and Kimia, given that you're going back to space and obviously very excited to do so, what's something that maybe you didn't get the chance to do, in your first 3 go-arounds, your first go-around, that you're, especially hoping to tick that box this time around, or maybe do again because you missed it so much? Thanks.
For me, I was born into a world that already knew this partnership, and I've never known life without it. It's amazing to think about. There are adults now who have never known a world without continuous human presence in space. That's amazing and makes me just so excited to see what happens in the coming decades, generations to come. I look forward to perhaps having the opportunity to fly Soyuz with Oleg as my commander. That would be incredible. And even at the end of the International Space Station's timeline, this is a partnership that becomes friendship and family that I will have forever. One of my favorite things in the world is my cosmonaut colleague referring to me as Zena-san. What a beautiful representation of this crew that we have.
Мы будем скоро праздновать 50 лет со дня первого международного полета по программе «Союз-Аполлон» или «Аполлон-Союз».
Good afternoon. This is Kim Murphy on the Wisconsin Live Desk. You're listening to NASA's briefings for the Crew 11 mission, which is supposed to happen later this month or early in August. Right now, we're listening to the Russian cosmonaut. He will be a mission specialist, talking about what it means for him to be a part of this 4-member crew headed to the International Space Station. They've been training for a while inside of a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft in Hawthorne, California. Today, they're talking about the upcoming crew rotation. And this is the final chance for the media to ask questions before they launch. Again, either late July or early August. The crew, commanded by Zena Cardman. This is her 4th time, I believe, in space. She's joined by a fellow astronaut, Mike Finke. There's an astronaut from Japan and a cosmonaut that you're listening to right now, who is also a part of this mission. So let's listen in.
Explore space and conduct experiments, not just for one country, but for all humankind.
Thank you. I'm going to switch over to a social media question now. This one is for Mike. Jim Reed on X asks, how many ham radio contacts does Astro Iron Mike think he will make on the space station?
Ooh. Amateur radio aboard the International Space Station is a really great way for us to interact with fellow humans from space to Earth and Earth to space. On my first mission, I was able to talk to all 7 continents, and I'm looking forward to talking to more of my fellow Earthlings from space. I think I'll have to schedule the amateur radios on board from my colleagues here, who are also going to really enjoy the chance to talk to folks from all over the world. So thanks for that question, because that just reminded me, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to too.
Good afternoon. I'm Kim Murphy here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. You've been listening to the 4 members who are headed to the International Space Station later this month or early in August, and they are fielding questions both from media gathered there and also from social media questions from average people who are curious about what is happening in space and what this mission is all about. Want to give you a live look right now at our city. It is going to be a big weekend. We're talking about another Harley homecoming. So we are expecting thousands of visitors to visit our city. The homecoming, 4 days of music and moto culture from July 10th through the 13th. Tickets right now, they're still available, starting at $214. There are 2-day passes, 4-day passes, there are packages, lots of different ways to take in the Harley culture. And one of the big things that's happening, of course, are the concerts. Some big names. We are talking about Hank Williams Jr. He is performing tomorrow evening. And then on Saturday, Chris Stapleton is performing along with some other opening acts. But this is going to be just such a great weekend filled with music and Harley culture and everything that is Milwaukee. Still time for you to check out some of the celebrations that are happening. Actually get the pass to be on the grounds. Veterans Park is one of the places, and of course Harley-Davidson HQ on Juneau Avenue is another venue for this weekend's Harley-Davidson fun. But you don't really even have to go to a ticketed event, because we welcome Harley riders all over the city, so that will be something to look forward to this weekend. Again, tickets start at $214. There are still some left, so if you are interested in being a part of the Harley culture, you don't even have to really have a Harley-Davidson. You just, come out and do your thing and get a t-shirt, and you're part of the Harley culture. Taking a live look at our satellite and radar, hopefully that rain will stay to our west and not rain out the activities, but there's a chance for Saturday to be a little wet for those who are planning on enjoying Harley-Davidson's homecoming. I'm Kim Murphy on the desk for this Thursday. Wild.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It's Thursday, July 10th. Thanks for stopping in and checking in with us on the Wisconsin Live Desk to find out what's going on in our world. So right now we have 4 astronauts giving a briefing for their next mission. This is Crew 11 that is headed to the International Space Station. Around here, we also want to update you on what is going to be a very difficult day tomorrow. The services for Milwaukee Police Officer Kendall Corder. Open to the public. The visitation is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Immediately following that is the funeral, and Officer Corder will be buried at Wisconsin Memorial Park. We will, of course, be covering this from the Wisconsin Live Desk as well as on air, but Milwaukee law enforcement from around the country preparing to say goodbye, the last call for Officer Kendall Corder, who was ambushed along with his partner near 25th and Garfield more than a week ago. And those services are going to be held tomorrow, and we will have that here on the Wisconsin Live Desk as well as on air. So let's take a look at what's going on. It's been a quiet day here, as we say, on The Matrix. Jason Calvi joined us earlier talking about some difficult news for families who are preparing, saving for their child to attend a UW system school. Right now, the recommendation for fiscal year 26 is a 4% increase to the base tuition. This would be an additional 1% tuition for all UWs except UW Green Bay. So what are we talking about? The proposal, oh my gosh, for the 2025 school year, $10,000? That would go up to $10,500. Now you say, oh, it's only a $500 change, but take it from someone who is a UW-Madison grad. Every dollar is hard to come by, and so that is not good news for students who are trying to plan their futures and whether or not they can even afford to go to college. UW Milwaukee also seeing an increase of about $439. Some of the other popular campuses, UW Whitewater, right now, tuition for the 2024-25 school year is around $7,119. That would increase by $356 for that tuition to be $7,475. So right now, that is the recommendation for the next fiscal year for the campuses of UW. We're also looking at UW, let's say, Eau Claire. That would go up about $397. Right now, tuition is $7,931 up to $8,328. I know. We never get news that tuition is going down. It's only going up. All right, let's check in with Tammy Bruce, giving the daily State Department briefing. Again, this is when the media and you get a chance to get updates on a variety of issues that the State Department and the federal government are focused on.
We can get to you, but we're going to move on from that. Yes, sir. Go ahead. No. We are going on. That was your chance, sir. No, sir. Right there.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
On the optimism expressed by the administration on the potential ceasefire in Gaza, and particularly the distribution of humanitarian aid.
Yes.
Are there plans in place to stop the firing on Palestinians trying to get that aid?
Well, if we've been demanding for a long time, there's one group there, it's just horrible, that will not stop shooting people or lay down their weapons. Hamas. They could lay down their weapons. There are fewer of them, we will have to admit, since the beginning of this war. And they also won't release the hostages. So part of the ceasefire plan, of course, you have a ceasefire when people stop shooting. So if we're looking at the nature of if there's a plan in that framework, and also, of course, what Secretary Rubio has noted, that there is no place in the future for Hamas. Hamas should not exist. It cannot exist. So in that context, yes, the firing on anyone who is attempting, who's an innocent civilian, who's attempting to get something or just living their lives, the Gazan people have been the first victims of this horror, as they have been controlled for generations by Hamas, by terrorists, by those who don't care about them. So the peace that President Trump wants and Secretary Rubio is working for aims, to say the least, of ending that across the board, no matter who might be doing it, but certainly those who are controlling that framework now and the ones with the weapons, and that would be Hamas. Yes, at the end of the row here.
Anthony Mershak from MTV Lebanon.
Right,
so
welcome aboard.
We're asking about
Thank you,
Beirut.
sir.
Could you please clarify the Special Envoy Tom Barak recent comment stating that Hezbollah has a political wing? Had the U.S. position changed regarding the distinction between Hezbollah's political and military branches?
I have a few things I can say to you. First of all, our position has not changed. Hezbollah is a designated terrorist organization, and we do not distinguish between its political or armed wings. As Ambassador Barak said while in Beirut, Lebanon must utilize this moment to make progress, and that includes progress on disarming Hezbollah. And at the same time, Ambassador Barak, he is the ambassador to Turkey, as well as, of course, our special envoy for Syria. I'm not going to characterize his diplomatic conversations in that regard at all, but he has said publicly that he has been very satisfied with the initial response by the Lebanese government, but now it's noted that they're working on details in this regard. And on the security front, the Lebanese armed forces have made progress on disarming Hezbollah in the south, but there is still more to be done. So as he said, Ambassador Barak, while in Beirut, Lebanon must utilize this moment to make progress. And we do not want to see Hezbollah or any other terrorist group in Lebanon recover their ability to commit violence and threaten the security in Lebanon or in Israel. And I will take one more. You, sir, in the white shirt. Thank you.
Journalist from Azerbaijan, and recently Secretary Rubio said he hopes to see a peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan soon. And today, Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan met in Abu Dhabi. Is there any connection between Secretary Rubio's remarks and this meeting? And does Washington currently have a concrete plan or proposal to support a peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan? And my second question is...
Let me answer that, because, get me while it's right here on the front, and I will take your second question, and then that's likely going to be it, because we have a thing. First, regarding the peace process, the United States supports those efforts to promote peace and stability in the South Caucasus. We also are tracking the referenced press reports in general and don't have any additional information to share. But as you know also, I think the Trump administration and Secretary Rubio's approach speaks for itself. And his remarks at the cabinet meeting is that this is an administration working for peace. They will do and go wherever they need to go. It is not waned. It is because it is the core of the commitment to making America great again is improving, of course, the condition of the world around us. And your second question, sir.
My second question is, for several months now, there has been no U.S. ambassador appointed to Azerbaijan. Could you please clarify if this delay is due to procedural and technical reasons, or if there are any political consideration behind it? And how does the U.S. government view the importance of having a full ambassadorial presence in Baku at this time?
Very good question. I don't have the answer to that right now, but we will take it back and get it back to you in the full context in which you answered it. All right, you guys, that's it right now. Thank you very much. I will see you again next week, but there will be, of course, updates on everything we're working on throughout today and tomorrow. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thank you.
And you've just seen the conclusion of today's briefing from the State Department with Tammy Bruce on a variety of issues. A lot of those questions related to what is happening in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas, and the delicate ceasefire and the attempts by the Trump administration to bring this war to an end. So we're following that. Let's turn to a little bit of lighter news. Guess who is turning 1? Yeah, the pygmy hippo at the zoo in Thailand. That's Mudang. 1 year old today. Mudang has become kind of an internet celebrity. Her caretakers started posting pictures of her and viral videos of her, and she went viral. So Mudang is now 1 year old, and there's a big celebration for her in Thailand. 4 days of celebration for this little hippo. And to kick it off, she gets a 44-pound cake. So there's something about 4. That must be lucky. So she started as just a little pygmy hippo at a Thailand zoo, and now she's an internet sensation. But the zoo is very happy with this development because the pygmy hippo is an endangered species. And so this does bring attention to the plight of this species and for us all to be better conservationists of our environment. But Mudang is 1 year old. She doesn't look, oh my gosh, her skin is just glowing. Don't you think? Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. So we are taking a look around the matrix, as we call it. It's a little bit slow today, but no complaints there. Another thing that is happening today, be on the lookout for Barbie. This is the first new Barbie in quite some time, and this Barbie is special because she has type 1 diabetes. You see her medical equipment on her arm and on her waist. She wears a glucose monitor that tracks her blood sugar. She has an insulin pump. That's what's on her waist. She's dressed in a blue outfit, and blue is the color for juvenile diabetes awareness. So that is very intentional. But this is to honor those who have juvenile diabetes and to bring attention to this. But this is a new Barbie, has type 1 diabetes, and she's got the glucose monitor. She's got the insulin pump. She's got the blue outfits to symbolize diabetes awareness. So what a way to, again, as toy makers look to expand, to be more inclusive. This definitely is a big step because we know that there are a lot of children who are being diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, and to see themselves reflected in a doll is probably pretty special. And it's a chronic autoimmune condition. It attacks your pancreas. It leads to just all kinds of problems. It's usually diagnosed in childhood. It's, again, autoimmune disease and something that is being diagnosed more often than previously has been. Information here.
Interesting things I think in this, but you talk about the origins of police, and actually, can I get you in 3 minutes? Because I bet a lot of people in here, but I'm guessing there's some people who don't know really where the word police came from, and it's somewhere in the room. So that one person, where did the word police start? And then I want to deepen that.
Well, I mean, this ties into the state question.
Yes.
So it's a good question. So the word police came from the word policy. Devise what's the best policy to better business interests. They have a whole series of like parastate apparatuses, all the think tanks, universities sometimes too, to give ideas to the state about what is the best way to maintain this business climate. And so if that's what the state does, and I think it's important to say the state isn't democratic. Like, we don't live in a democracy. We should start saying that more so. I mean, there's so many different ways. I'm not going to go into it, but people are clapping, so there's general agreement. I'm glad we agree on that. So do we capture the state, or do we try to replace it with something different? And I think it's the latter, to replace it with something different.
One of the really interesting things I think in this, but you talk about the origins of police, and actually, can I get you in 3 minutes? Because I bet a lot of people in here, but I'm guessing there's some people who don't know really where the word police came from, and it's somewhere in the room. So that one person, where did the word police start? And then I want to deepen that.
Well, I mean, this ties into the state question.
Yes.
So it's a good question. So the word police came from the word policy. And so it was generally, what is the policy in the origins of the bourgeois state? What is the policy to be able to administer, to manage, to order capitalist society? And so in the early writings of it, all that stuff was like, what regulations do we need to make sure that the markets run, essentially? Literally, the markets run. And then, of course, it found that in order to keep the markets running, to control the large mass of people who have been forced off their land, forced into the city to try to work, how are we going to organize those people, right? Because they want to make money in their own way. They don't want to work at first, which is a good thing. And how do we organize that? Policies of organizing that, and then it was like, wait, we actually have to force them to do those things. And so then the notion of policy to order the capitalist society then realized that that ordering had to be one of force. And then we see the word policy, the word police, being that of how do we force this ordering of all these people who are not that of the ruling class.
One, and if you want to slow down a count of this, I mean, there's many places to go for code, but also Mark Neocleus's book, The Fabrication of Social Order, is an incredible account of this in Europe. Now, Mark doesn't, and I don't blame Mark at all, he doesn't engage with like the sort of slavery origins component and that component, but he does deal with the emergence of police as a governing thing out as we kind of coming out of feudalism, and we want to fabricate a sense of some kind of order. And one reason why I think that's important, this policy thing, is that one assumption I had about police that I would also hear is that the police were expanding to cover more and more things, right? Like the police would move into this, they moved into social work.
Yeah.
What I learned was that initially when police was conceived, police was kind of all of it. It included, for example, in the UK, the healthcare system was a system of police, right? And it was later those things, so police was sort of first, and then those things were given different names. And what I think that teaches us that's important for our movements is that the state has a role. We talk about the repressive role of the state, but the state also sees itself or narrates itself as something that is supposed to care for us and provide. This is something that I think Comrade Astrid Taylor was talking about with me. It's like, yeah, the state, we're in competition when we talk about setting up care networks. We're in competition in a way with the state, right? I mean, you even think about, for example, veterans, right? And you think about all the people who get veterans health care. I mean, that's like a kind of almost like a massive welfare program, right? And that's why so many people get recruited. And I think about that matters when you're talking about something like January 6th. So at any rate, yeah, I know this feels like weedsy territory, but I will say that I think looking at the emergence of the police is a great political education tool. For just every ordinary people's, people who think.
And you are listening to a discussion about policing in America. We are going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
We are also keeping an eye on the recovery efforts happening in central Texas after the 4th of July floods. I want to give you a look at the river. Right now, the Guadalupe River has receded quite a bit, but there are now more than 160 people who are believed to still be missing. 118 people have died. Some of those fatalities involving children. Several summer camps were inundated by a 30-foot wall of water that just came rushing through in the early morning hours of July 4th in the dark of the night. And so this is a live look. We are expecting an update any moment now from officials in Texas about where they stand in terms of the search efforts. These floods are now the deadliest from inland flooding in the U.S. since 1976. The last flood of this magnitude was in Colorado. It killed 144 people. Just devastating everywhere you look. Of course, Harley-Davidson HQ and down to the Harley-Davidson Museum. It's not just about the motorcycle rides. There is big entertainment. So excited that tomorrow, Friday, July 11th, Hank Williams Jr. is performing. And on Saturday, Chris Stapleton, great performer. He will take the stage tomorrow evening. That will be at Veterans Park. There's still an opportunity if you want to get on the homecoming grounds. There are tickets to get into the grounds. And right now, they start at $214 for a 2-day pass. Tickets are available last check. Don't know how long that is going to be the case, but get out, be ambassadors for Milwaukee. Tell these folks that we're a great place, and I'm sure they already know, the word's already out, that we are a great place to come on out and enjoy some great food, some great music, hopefully some better weather. I think tomorrow we're reasonably okay, but Saturday we may have a couple of showers here and there, but we're kind of used to this by now, right? And let's take a look at that traffic that is just 41, there is construction there, and of course on 43, there is construction there. So this is just a reminder to take it easy because we do have a lot of people coming to town who may not be familiar with the roads, the exits, the traffic patterns with construction. So give them space. Let's be careful. Let's have a safe Harley homecoming weekend and something that everyone can enjoy. We're going to take a quick break. This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
To Georgia now on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Georgia's governor right now is speaking with the family of an Israeli hostage, asking for
not rested
help
or been at peace for
getting
even a
that
moment
24-year-old
since.
Ayatar David released.
In a show of
taken
twisted
October 7th.
psychological terror on February 22nd of this year, Hamas brought Ivitar and Guy out of the tunnels and made them watch the release of other hostages being returned to their families. The terrorists filmed their reactions, forced them to follow a choreographed script, and then returned them to the dungeons before broadcasting the video to the world. One of the photos that you see beside me is a still shot taken from that Hamas video. You can see yourself how beat down, malnourished, and tortured these two young men are. The other photo that we have today is of Ivitar, taken under normal circumstances before the events on October the 7th. You can see the incredible difference between the two images and the horrible toll this ordeal has taken on a life that really had just begun. These are the faces that we are here to remember today, but also in the days to come. We know that just this past week, President Trump hosted Prime Minister Netanyahu in Washington to discuss the hopes and plans for a ceasefire, discussions that continue as we speak. And we're certainly praying that this peace will come quickly and that all the remaining hostages will be returned to their families as part of that negotiated peace, including Ivitar. But until that day comes, whenever it comes, I'm here on behalf of all Georgians to say that we will continue to stand with the Jewish people and the state of Israel, now and for as long as it takes to end this war and ensure the safety of all Israelis. That support from well before roughly 1,200 civilians were attacked and killed in the October 7th attacks to this moment has been unwavering, and it will remain so. From the anti-hate crimes and anti-BDS legislation passed under this very gold dome that I had the honor of signing into law, to the roughly $25 million in active Israel bonds owned by the state of Georgia, the creation of the Georgia-Israel Caucus, the law enforcement exchange programs we participate in, the multiple trips members of my administration have taken to meet with the Israeli government and business leaders, and so many other measures. Real Georgians want you to know that we have your back, and that we will have Ivitar's back, Guy's back, and the backs of all those still held captive by evil men who pursue hatred rather than peace, bitterness rather than purpose. As we pray without ceasing for the safe return of the hostages and for the safe and peaceful Israel, we are reminded of the hopeful words from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not faint. We put our trust in the Lord, Adonai, and that trust has been rewarded again and again. Less than 3 weeks ago, we saw that faith put into action when military planes from our own country soared on wings like eagles across the globe, undetected, and delivered a crippling blow to the nuclear capabilities of Hamas benefactor, the Iranian regime. That historic operation was a joint venture between the almighty forces of the United States and Israel, and its incredible success is just the latest reminder of what we can achieve when we work together. So we will continue to wait upon and put our faith in the God of Abraham. We will pray and mourn and rejoice together when the innocent are finally returned home and peace is won. And we will not forget these men and women who need our help right now, whose strength we must all work together to renew. who must continue to walk in those dark tunnels by faith and not grow weary. May God bless Evitar and his fellow hostages. God bless the people in the state of Israel, and may God bless these United States as we proudly stand with our ally against anti-Semitism in all its evil forms. Amen. It is my pleasure to now...
That is Georgia's governor calling for the release of the Israeli hostages, the remaining hostages. There is a family that he met with earlier, the family of Evitar David. He was 24 years old when he was taken hostage during the Nova Music Festival. He later was identified on a video with multiple hostages bound and pleading for help. It seemed like he was close to release, but that didn't happen. And now you are taking a look at Evitar David.
Thanks to the wonderful Jewish community of Atlanta and to Ora Torah community specifically. Thank you for embracing Evitar and my family with such warmth and such care. To the Miriam Institute, thank you for your unwavering support from the very beginning. And a special thanks to Benjamin Anthony, who first introduced me to this incredible, incredible community. And finally, to Eden Barak.
We are also keeping an eye on a situation. It seems to be a town hall meeting, we believe, in New York, talking about dissatisfaction with the housing, public housing. Let's take a listen on what's happening there.
Talking to the mic so people across can hear you.
Can you promise that New York City will continue to maintain its status as a sanctuary city when you return as mayor? This is yes or no?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And so, folks, let's understand what sanctuary city is, because people have been throwing that terminology around. So I want you to really understand what it is. It's not a law. It's not a law. It's a concept that states if you are in New York, you have a right to receive the services of New York. So if you walk in a store and you buy a bottle of water, right? You pay taxes for that. Those taxes go to the delivery of your services. It goes to the Department of Education, the fire department, the police, all the things that go with those taxes you have a right to. So a person who's paying taxes, we're not doing them a favor by saying you have a right to the services. They're doing us a favor by paying their taxes. And so in New York City, it doesn't matter if you're documented or undocumented. If you need the police, you call the police. They're not going to ask you for your documentation status. If you need to go to the hospital, you go to the hospital. If you have a child, that child get educated in school. That's what sanctuary city means, that you are entitled to all the services of this city.
So what you're listening to is current Mayor Eric Adams at a community forum. He, of course, is running for New York City's mayor to be reelected. This is a tight race. He has lost some key endorsements. He should have had an easy path to reelection after winning an open seat in 2021, but then he was indicted in federal courts in September of 24, and now he has challengers. So let's listen as he is fielding questions at this public meeting.
Safe haven for criminal behavior. It's a safe haven for all that would like to experience the American dream, because our immigrant community has played a vital role in this city throughout generations. And so those who want to come here and say we want to provide and work for the city and move up through the city and be part of the dream, you're more than welcome. We're not going to stop you from doing so. But those who want to harm New Yorkers and non-New Yorkers, that Venezuelan gang we took down, 27 gang members, they were taking the documents of women and forcing them into prostitution. We can't coddle them. And we can't say they can stay here, because they can't. I don't want them here. There was somebody over here that someone's coming to. Yes, ma'am. Yes, okay.
This is New York City Mayor Eric Adams at a community forum, a town hall. He is running for re-election. He's not received any major endorsements yet, but President Trump has voiced support. He is in a race now. He is technically an independent. There is the Democratic nominee Zoran Mandani, the independent Jim Walden, and the independent Andrew Cuomo, and the Republican Curtis Sliwa. And so this is a crowded field right now, and Adams has had some trouble during his term, and specifically being indicted on federal charges. So he's being asked why he should be re-elected. Let's listen.
The last time it attacks the plumbing, so it backs up in the basement. It cost between me and my insurance company over $16,000 years ago. But the fact is, I still have to go down every night to check to see if there's a backup. Please.
Yes.
I need help. I need help.
Tell me about that. What happens when the tree?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit about
it. Okay, I feel you.
Absolutely. So I can speak with you a little bit, Miss. I could get your address and look into the condition of the tree. You're a homeowner, I'm guessing, and is the tree is right in front of your house?
In front there too, one on this side. In addition to that, the only good thing about it is that every morning I have to get up and clean up the leaves. Okay. I'm bending over cleaning leaves, and I usually rationalize and say, at least
some of the issues that a mayor of any city has to deal with. Are your constituents happy? Do they have problems? Do they feel like the city government works for them? We're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
And this afternoon on the Wisconsin Live Desk, we are keeping an eye on things that are also happening around the country. On your left, this is a news conference that is happening in Georgia. The plea from a family and Georgia's governor to release a remaining hostage in Gaza. A 24-year-old has been in captivity since October 7th when he was taken during the Nova Music Festival. And on your right, you have New York's current mayor, Eric Adams, politicking with some of his constituents, trying to convince them why he should receive another term. We've heard a lot of questions from people, ranging from dissatisfaction with their housing, some public services. So those are just some of the stories that we are keeping an eye on. Let's just listen in a little closer as we wrap up what's happening in New York. And just like that, we lost our New York picture, so let's go now to Georgia.
It is about us. We are not right until they are not all home with us. And so thank you, everyone, for being here. And Eli, I wish for you to play music with Aviatar soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. That will conclude our formal program here. Thank you, Governor Kemp, First Lady Marty Kemp, Eli Matan, and Consul General. It was wonderful to be together and to share these thoughts. And Eli will be here afterwards to continue to answer questions and to spend some time together. And we appreciate everybody being here. There are flyers on your seats. If anyone would like to learn more, there is a QR code that you can follow. And please continue to raise your voices until all of our hostages are returned. Thank you so much.
A news conference just wrapping up in Georgia calls for the release of the remaining Israeli hostages. The family of hostage Aviatar David, he's 24 years old. He was taken October 7th of 2023 when he was attending that music festival. He was later identified as one of the multiple hostages who was shown on video pleading for help. Governor Kemp has met with the David family ahead of these remarks that you're seeing here at the Georgia State Capitol. This news conference comes as Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with President Trump, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and members of Congress to talk about the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. President Trump has been pressing for a ceasefire in this 21-month-long war. So this is a reminder that there are still hostages that have not been released, hostages who are alive, and the family of Aviatar David asking, pleading for the two sides to come together to make this ceasefire happen, to end this 21-month-long war, and to bring some closure to families, not just for the living hostages, but for those whose remains have not been returned to their families. It's just this incredible ache in their hearts of not knowing. We also want to take you to Texas when we speak of heartache. Right now, the death toll is confirmed to be 118 people after the flash floods happened on the early morning hours of July 4th. There are still more than 160 people who are still believed to be missing. They're unaccounted for. The area that was hit is Hill Country. That's in central Texas. This just tells you just how expansive the devastation is. This is now the worst flooding disaster in quite some time. Texas's governor is calling on lawmakers to provide financial relief for the recovery and the response to these storms. Local leaders are also asking for help. They've been in talks for years, talking about the need for a system to warn of the flooding, but it was the concern about costs and the noise that led to missed opportunities. Some are saying right now to put up sirens. There were no sirens in the early morning hours of when this disaster happened. So we are keeping an eye on that, and our thoughts and prayers are with the families of survivors and those who lost loved ones in the flooding as we will continue to monitor this situation. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Just want to remind you it's a big weekend here in Wisconsin. It's a homecoming for Harley Davidson and lots of entertainment. It's a weekend of both music and the moto culture. So if you hear a lot of noise, well, that's not noise, that's music. The sound of those Harley Davidson engines revving. Welcome to all of our visitors. It's always a great way to check out what a city has to offer, what's going on in the city. If you check out their news, their local news, we make it even easier. We're on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Download the app. You can take it with you. And when you stop for a pit stop on your bike, check out Fox Local, and you can join us on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Weekdays, we are here from 12:30 until 2:30. Thanks for stopping in with us. Be careful out there on the roads. We do have visitors. Let's be a welcoming community and a safe one. So as we go to break, again, here are the roads. Be safe.
Well, here it is, episode 4, A New Hope of Isobar, the highs and lows of meteorology. 3 chief meteorologists sitting around the Isobar doing a little bar talk weather-wise. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got Rich Ludeman out in Detroit, and of course, Emily Walls right down the road in Chicago, along with myself, Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell here in Milwaukee. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, we're excited to be here for another round.
Very excited.